Any peace agreement with the Kremlin will mean further aggression in the future, so negotiations with Russia are currently unfavorable both for Ukraine and Europe. This was stated by Mykhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine.
The negotiation process today will fix a temporary truce in the war, which will not be over. Accordingly, the Russian Federation will consider this a victory and will continue to claim to promote its expansionist policy. Therefore, a truce now will only mean the next stage of the war after a certain time. Mykhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, in an interview with Bild.
The negotiation process between Ukraine and Russia is also unfavorable for Germany, France and Italy. It could provoke Moscow to be more aggressive in its economic, diplomatic and political relations.
Die Ukraine unterstützen und
By February 24th, everything was being done to prevent war diplomatically. The president of Russia has decided to disrupt these peace talks. Now he has been destroying an innocent country for 6 months. Russia is not even ready for wide negotiations on humanitarian corridors, so Western partners have no choice but to continue supporting Ukraine.
According to leading analyst of the European Office of Eurasia Group, Mujtaba Rahman, against the background of public statements of support for Ukraine, there is a confrontation between Germany and France on the one hand, and Poland, the Baltic states and Scandinavia on the other. In his opinion, French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz continue to seek a diplomatic solution of the war in Ukraine.
France and Germany continue to have serious misgivings about what a Ukrainian win could entail, and whether the war can be won without an escalation. A distinction, therefore, needs to be drawn between what is being said in public and the private views of Macron, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and the most senior people around them. Mujtaba Rahman, Managing Director, Europe and Eurasia Group, in an interview with Politico.
According to the head of the Ukrainian delegation at the negotiations with Russia, David Arahamiya, Ukraine has won the first round of negotiations. The second one is on pause for now, but the Kremlin is constantly probing the ground for resuming the negotiation process.
I associate this with the fact that our armed forces are showing good progress and with the fact that some events are beginning to happen in Crimea. They see that they do not have an opportunity to occupy the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions the way they did in Donbass. They see that people refuse to cooperate with the occupation authorities, and they understand that there are many problems with this, and they want to find a moment for the negotiating position to be stronger. David Arahamiya, head of the Ukrainian delegation in the negotiation process, on air of the All Ukrainian Television.
President of Turkey Recep Tayyip Erdogan, during his visit to Lviv, once again offered to mediate in the negotiations between the presidents of Ukraine and Russia. The Kremlin does not yet see such a possibility.
As for a meeting between Presidents Putin and Zelensky, it is possible only after all the homework has been done by the delegations. This is missing, so there are no necessary prerequisites for the meeting. Dmitry Peskov, spokesperson of the President of Russia.
For its part, Ukraine refused to have such a meeting. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stressed during the second summit of the Crimea platform that negotiations with Russia were out of the question because the Russian authorities were only ready to wage war, not dialogue. According to him, negotiations with the head of the aggressor state are possible only after the deoccupation of temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine.
Russia, with its daily attacks, breakthroughs, offensives or then retreats, along with all this murderous killing and violence, is telling all of us and you that they don't see any negotiations but this, and we explain that everything they have done shows that they do not think about any dialogue at all, and never have.
Experts consider Putin to be more interested in a ceasefire now because his army is exhausted and is not capable of launching a new offensive.
Putin is more interested in a ceasefire, especially in the south, than Zelensky himself. Zelensky too, but he is interested in peace as such. Putin is interested in a pause. Mark Fagin, Russian human rights activist, in an interview with Channel 24.
The Financial Times, citing a source close to the Kremlin, wrote, Russia hopes to gain control of the entire Donbass before the winter, and until the Russian army gains control over the entire Donetsk region, Vladimir Putin will not be ready to negotiate. Also, after a visit by Russian Defense Minister Shoigu to Uralvagonzavod, Russia's largest tank manufacturer, the American Institute for the Study of War, suggested that Russia might be preparing for an extended war in Ukraine by trying to restart its defense industrial complex, which had previously been hit by Western sanctions. Reported by Roman Smoler, Victoria Sinko, UATV News.